This is my wife, Cheryl Aikman. We met in 2004. Fortunately, she loves travel. She was a Rotary Scholar in college in England. As an adult, she did a Knowles course in Wyoming, so she loves the idea of the adventure and the educational opportunities that come out of that. That's me, the short one in the front. Typical family vacations growing up. My brother was a foreign exchange student in Denmark in high school. My sister was in the Navy. So I learned early on that there's a big wide world out there. It'd be fun to go check it out. I was in the Peace Corps for 2 years. Fast forward, this is my wife, my older daughter, and my younger daughter, and that little pokey thing right there. Pat Durham, I hope you recognize that. And this is at High Falls State Park in DuPont. This is where I asked my wife to marry me. We did things in different order. The outdoors is important to us. When Josie here turned 2 years old, I quit work. I had a great job. Things were great. Couldn't be any better. But I just decided, after long conversations with my wife, dropping the kids off at daycare, going and sitting in the conference room, talking about where to put a button on a web page, I just decided this would be a better way to do. A couple of years, though, girls got older, way more independent. I got restless. The idea comes up of RoadSkool. What can I do to better use my time, get the girls on the road for that sense of adventure? That's when we started talking about it, and it was never talked about not how to do it, only how to do it. We grew up, like so many families here in Asheville, outdoorsy. We've got the gear, we've got the stuff. Going on the road for a year to do it wasn't really a crazy idea for us. It was a little unusual that my wife wasn't going to come because somebody had to stay here and pay the bills. A home away from home right here, 168 square feet. Bonus room being the great outdoors. A lot of our trip focused on national parks. And this had 2 bunks. Each bunk had a window. The dinette was not my bed. I had my own bed, so it met all the criteria. How to start the planning. It's like everything else. Where do you start your planning? Where do you jump off? My wife was coming to see us along the way, so when she got her plans on the calendar, that really allowed us to start moving in that direction. So that was very helpful, even though it was kind of hard to make sure you got there in time, but you damn well better show up. After a lot of arranging and rearranging, one campsite was available, but the next one down the road wasn't. It all came together. Fall was very well planned out, way in advance. Spring was more, kind of by the seat of our pants. And fortunately, Cheryl was at home helping facilitate the planning as we were on the road. Curriculum, RoadSkool, right? We were technically a homeschool with North Carolina. My wife worked hard, 4th and 5th grades. The girls studied. They learned differently, entirely different personalities. Total ballast. We never use those things. What we did do, thanks to the national parks, the junior ranger programs, everywhere we went, if it was a park, a monument, a lake shore, any of those places, and many state parks, county parks even, they're going to have a ranger badge of one sort or the other. And that allows the kids to figure out about where they are. 6 weeks into the trip, my wife catches up with us. We were there. It was good. This is in Halifax, Nova Scotia. The girls marked the trip by the time of the trip by when Cheryl was coming next. The day she arrived were the best. The day she left were really hard. Now we're in January. We're in Chile. Cheryl took a short sabbatical from work, and we wanted to get abroad. We had the time. Cheryl had 5 weeks off. We wanted to get out of town. We wanted to get south because it was January. We were not huge winter people. And Cheryl has a passion for hiking. This is Torres del Paine in Patagonia, Chile. Back to the States. Along the way, we tried to hook up with old friends when it made sense. It might have been for a coffee. It might have been a week at their house on Long Island. And that's what's happening here. The gentleman in the green hat is Cheryl's mom's ex-high school boyfriend. The guy in the orange hat's his husband. This is a family we met on the road in Big Bend in March. We ended up traveling a good part of the spring with them on and off. We weren't attached at the hip. We went back and forth. But obviously, the kids got along. I got along with the adults. Kim better than Dan, but, what can I say? Glitz, glamour, romance, adventure, laundry, cooking, cleaning. I tell everybody it was a different place, it was a different space. At the end of the day, it's not a whole lot different than being at home. You still got to get that stuff done. I'd lie to you if I told you every day was awesome. If there wasn't some agony and misery and little bits of every day. But I'll tell you what, it's really hard to find a hike that's not hot in Death Valley. Good luck. And it happened that this year that was in April. Anyway, this is our trip broken down. East of the Mississippi was the fall. Chile, continental drift, was the winter. West of the Mississippi was this past spring. Like I said, we got home in late June. And my wife kept this at home. Like I said, we couldn't have done it without her at home helping out. Homeward bound, the shadows, the mirror. We had a canoe on top. We had the bikes on the front, trailer in the rearview mirror. I actually thought we'd take about 10 more days at this point in the trip to get home. But it's pretty remarkable when the truck turned south. I mean, we just booked it home. We made it home from Minnesota in record time. People have asked me, what did the girls get out of the trip? What did Cheryl get out of it? What did we get out of it as a family? As I talked about, not a lot of school. Thank goodness for the Junior Ranger badges. All I can say is this, hopefully they'll have this for life. Thank you.